Okay, looks like it's 6 o'clock, so we might as well go ahead and get started. So we'll call this meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody that's here in the attendance for this February 9th of 2016 regular board meeting. So call on the roll call, and it looks like everybody's here except for Heidi, and I'm assuming she's...
As far as I know, she will be coming.
So, okay. Looking at the agenda, it looks like we have an additional personnel number 3 that was given into your folder just recently. Also on the agenda, if you want to look back to the back page, informational reports. Lori Flora and Dave Orline will not be given their reports tonight. And Max Maher. They'll be coming next board meeting to give their reports. But Community Ed with Matt Dickhausen will be reporting on Kelly, Bruce Vanderpool, and then we'll give our Robert Hewitt, our administrator report, and then we'll do some board sharing. I noticed that our 2016 MSBA conference, January 14th and 15th, was not on here, but I think that's where we can probably do our sharing at that point in time. So, okay, so that's in addition to the agenda. I guess I would like a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I got a motion by Bruce and second by Kella. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Number 5, district's proud of. We don't have anything at this point in time. Public comment. I don't know if there's anybody here that has any public comment. We'll be entertaining that at this point. And seeing none, we'll go ahead to, in our packets, we all got the minutes for the last board meeting. So I'm sure you guys all had the opportunity to review them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
So I have a motion by Bruce.
Second.
And a second by Randy. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. We have 2 items underneath the consent agenda. Looks like we have one, review and consider approval of the following teacher lane changes request. This is a request that from our contracts that basically we have to do, but we've identified that Marie Groff, Mary Linedecker, Jeff Sawatsky, and Brooke Lightful. Okay? And number 2 is review and consider approval of accepting the following donation. The Public Bulldog Booster Club has donated $10,000 to us. So.
And that was primarily for softball and baseball pitching machines.
Yep. So. All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, unless it's somebody else. Okay. Cheryl? And second by Heidi. Any other further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. So we're going to move on to the business portion of the agenda. Just FYI to the people in the audience, these are discussable by you guys too. So if you have any comments or questions regarding any of those business items, please raise your hand and I'll try to look up occasionally and make sure we get you answered, okay? For number 1, we're going to be the FFA chapter and FFA alumni will be presenting information and payment for the electrical cost and the well project for this last year. So we'll turn it over to you guys. Bruce and Kenny are here. So,
Well, I'm Kenny Lai, newsletter president.
If you could speak a little bit more into the mic.
I think you have to turn it on too.
oh, can you turn it on, Kenny? On the top there should be a. Why don't you pull it here?
There. Now,
Did I get you?
Yeah.
I'm Kenny Lai, newsletter FFA alumni president. This is Bruce Hanson, member, and Andy Lensmeyer, Paynesville FFA chapter president. Last year, we had discussed about bringing the gate trailer, and we have that completed. Andy will show you some pictures of what we all did with that. I talked to Bob about the insurance on the gate trailer, and there wasn't none at first, but now there is.
Yeah, we're getting, thing for both of our trailers to find out that we were not caught, we were covered as long as it was being towed behind a vehicle. What we weren't covered for is when it went into a shed, so if a shed collapses, destroys the trailer, we weren't covered for that, and we're not covering for every penny of it, because some of the trailers are getting old a little bit, but we are covering for them.
So it was brought to our attention that the school didn't have any room to store it, so we had it at one of the alumni members' sheds and stuff. So if the opportunity ever comes that you want to have it at the school, we're willing to, let you guys, put it in your shed and stuff. The title is in the school's name. It always has been from the start.
Okay.
So the only question we've got now that there's insurance on it, do you want the alumni to pay for the insurance on the trailer?
I think for right now, I think, alumni was gracious enough to donate that trailer to us. It'll just be part of our regular package in our insurance, so we will cover that.
Okay, appreciate it. Because we had discussed at our meeting, that was one of the things that they had brought up, we should ask so we're all on the same page and stuff.
Yeah, if you guys are gracious enough to store that thing right now, we'll make sure it's covered sometimes.
The second thing is, we went through the toy barns again. We have 3 toy barns in the Paynesville school, and we've got 2 of them in Ricori. Every year around Christmas time, we go around and find out what was broken with it and replace them. This year, there was a little bit more than normal. This is the 9th year we've done this year, so the kids really appreciate it. They know that they're getting used and stuff. Some of them are getting in a little bit tough shape, so we're kind of looking in the future, a couple of years maybe, putting some more in there. We go to local businesses, Arnold's, B&C, they kind of implement Midwest and replenish them every Christmas and stuff, so it all stays local. Block Day, we had 2 exhibits there this year. We had Air Cool from Mycogen, showed the kids chemical resistance to weeds, which was a good one. And then Bruce had his Farm Bureau safety trailer there, which was a good one too. The kids really enjoyed it, got a lot of stuff out of that. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, Bruce, the day you were there?
No, it was a lot of fun. It was really fun because the kids were really interested in what was going on. And students, I shouldn't call them kids, right? They're kids to me, but students were really interested, and it was a great day, I thought. And they had lots of really good questions. And the safety trailer is just normal farm kind of things that you see that guys on the farm kind of know that you have to be careful of. Nobody else really realizes it. So it was jars that had liquid colors in it that looked like something you would drink like pop, that was a transmission fluid or things like that to show them. And then their favorite one is the tug of war. And it's a unit that simulates what it takes to pull somebody out of grain. And the further they get down, the more it takes to pull. So most of the time, most of the students couldn't have pulled another student out if they were a little more than waist deep, if they had a good place to sit and everything else. And so it was just an example, just not to be fooling around in those things without at least a rope on, and then have the fire department prepared. We talked about the Lake Henry Fire Department has a deal, I think where they put around people, dig the grain up, and it has saved lots of lives. But once you start falling down in that grain, it's a bugger. So it was just kind of interesting. They all were wondering how strong they were. Most of them were stronger than I was, I'm gonna tell you. I'm glad I don't have to play my own great bit. But I think they had a good time.
They did. They learned a lot out of that one. So, no, that's pretty much what we've done this year with the Day Alumni. Andy, good.
All right, a little bit about what we've been doing with FFA. some FFA activities have been going on. Starting off in September, we had plot day, which we already talked about. Then a little later on, we had harvesting the plot, which a couple of FFA members had the option. They went out and helped with harvesting it. So as the combine would come across the field, they'd dump it away, they'd calculate out what the yield was of it, mark it down for that particular one. It's kind of interesting to be able to calculate that out, especially for someone who had a farming background. It's kind of cool to see them be able to do that. Later on in the fall, we had, around Halloween, we had a deal we called Troop or Treat. And what some FFA members did is when they went trick or treating, they got donations for troops overseas, and they put out boxes in, I believe, in Shopco and in Teals for people to donate, just household items and stuff. And we sent them over to Kuwait. There was a troop out of Wilmer, I believe, that we sent them to. Just to give them a little remembrance of home and stuff. Later on, actually this is kind of just wrapped up last week, we had a deal called Caps for Chemotherapy. And what it was is, for 1 week, we went to all of the sport events and collected different used or unused caps and donations for kids going through chemotherapy, being they don't have any hair, so it's kind of a nice thing. And then students that helped out with them get to go out there and donate them to it and see the hospital and stuff like that. Last fall we had corn drive, which we go around and go to a lot of local farmers and get donations, either of corn or cash donations. That goes to benefit Troop or Treat, or not Troop or Treat, Camp Courage, which is for kids with disabilities to help them along. Then coming up this spring, we have, the end of this week actually, on Friday, we have Read Egg Day, which we go to, some FFA students go to the elementary school and read FFA books. We have these elementary FFA books we got a couple years ago, and read them to the second grade class. And we talk with them, ask them some questions and stuff. They really kind of like to see high schoolers coming in, so. It's kind of cool. We got some positive feedback from some teachers. They really love it because they're just looking forward to it all day. So it's good to be able to help them out. The thing we're trying this year is we're trying snow tubing this later on in March. It was an incentive we came up with this year to try to get more involvement. Just to go snow tubing, you'd have to do a certain amount of activities, and you have to be an involved member, and then you get to go along going snow tubing on Powder Ridge. So just something to try to get more people involved and stuff. Then middle of April is FFA week, and a couple things we'll be doing there is we'll be doing a staff appreciation, where some FFA members will bring in cookies or bars or something. We'll go around and give cookies and some juice to teachers, show them we appreciate them for being flexible with us for all the different activities we do. We may not be the greatest to their schedule, so appreciate them helping us out with that. Then we got the end of the month, we have Egg Day at the elementary school. So what that'll be is it'll be a petting zoo, and with that we'll have farm safety. This is not quite what he's got, but it's just a little extra. We'll have a tractor sitting there. We'll go through. These are the things that you need to be aware of. And stuff like that, or a lawnmower. We usually try and change it up every year. Just your basic safety. Then for CDE teams, our competition teams, last week I believe it was, we had a small animal team competed. They took second at regions, so they'll be going on to state, and then the rest of them will be competing in March. And if they make it to state, then they'll go to state convention in April and compete there. So that's pretty much what's going on in the FFA world.
Sounds like a lot. Where do you fit into school work?
We get it in there eventually.
That's cool. How many members do you have in your FFA?
With being paired with Coldstream, we have 40.
Oh, really? That's really good.
Yeah, it's grown over the years. And stuff.
Yeah, because you said it's been 9 years now that we've been paired with them?
Something like that.
Yeah, 8 or 9 with the court.
Yeah. You guys did a great job. I mean, that was one of those programs, I know when we first was introduced, it was like, well, is this here gonna be sustainable or whatever, and boy, it's really nice to see that you guys are really involved and doing a lot of good things, and so keep it up. It's a great program, I think, for kids, even if they're not a farmer, I think they.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
Interested.
Yep, so, good
We've got
job.
a lot of young, a lot of ninth graders and tenth graders.
Oh,
There's
really?
a lot of
Yeah,
underclassmen.
so it looks promising.
Good, good. Well, and it starts from you guys, you as alumni, because, you know, that puts the seed in the ground for, you know, for the future of that program. So if it wasn't for you guys, it'd be interesting where we would be today. But thank you again for everything that you guys do.
Yep, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I got one too. We get a free cookie out of that?
Well, I'll see what I can arrange.
I have another question. This trailer is absolutely beautiful. It is a billboard, basically. And I know that we have it stored in somebody's barn, but does this sit out in our parking lot or something a little bit, or what's your feeling on that?
Had it out at the plot day
Yep,
2 years ago. We run it through the parades in the summer.
yeah.
We've done that.
I guess what I was just thinking about, you know, right up here where the entrance is to the school, all the people from Highway 23 are coming through there. Anybody going to Teals is gonna see that. And it's a really good banner, so sometimes my thought would be if they're coming for Ag Day or something, maybe that could sit here a week or something. I mean, it's not very often we have something really nice advertising like that of a program that we're offering in our school, and we're looking for kids.
Well,
So,
it's a good idea. Yeah, whatever you said.
yeah, and you don't want it out a lot because you don't want the sun to eat it up too
Right,
bad.
that's exactly what we put.
A
in
little
some
bit
of the-
here and there,
Yeah, well, that's what it's for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. You have no more questions? Then we got 3 checks to present. The first one is for electricity for irrigation and the plot sign. The second one is for the payment for the well, and the third one is for the water permit for the well. We've got a copy of the water permit for the well. I don't know if you need that or not.
I would say we probably.
Yeah.
You need that?
Donnie should get a
Just
copy.
split it so that it's the rest of it.
So, 2 checks. Other than that, we don't have any more, unless you have any more questions.
Just keep up the good work.
You guys run a wonderful program, you really do. Kids do fantastic, and the Alumni Association is as good as I've seen.
Okay. Thank you again.
thank you. Thank you.
See you next night. Okay, under business, I should ask if there's anybody in the public that want to ask any questions. I forgot to ask anybody there that has any questions of them.
We're looking forward to you coming Friday morning to read to the second graders, so thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go on to number 2, the business, review and consider approval of, approval to amend the Baseball Association lease with the district. So I think we have that in our package too. And I think Chris is here. Do you want to come down and just give us a little insight, a little bit more to the amendment of the lease?
We met with Matt and Max and Bob, a few other people, and with baseball, we're just putting the batting cages underneath and stuff now. It was just asked if it might just be easier for the baseball association to run the batting cages during the winter than it is for having somebody in the school and putting them in charge of it. And we've now got a website designed. It's not live yet, but it will be very, very soon. Called, I think it's going under PaynesvilleBaseball.com, PaynesvilleBaseballClub.com, a couple different things, but where we'll have a schedule up there and lots of different things. Plus, we'll have all the baseball games, softball games, everything on this summer. But we were asked if we would be willing to consider leasing it from, we just said November 1 to the start of either baseball or softball. Once those seasons start, no longer they can take over. But until that time, I was like, well, certainly we can. We do have the new, I don't know if anybody's been down there, they've been, baseball team and softball team have been hitting down there now for a month, maybe, close to that
Yeah,
already.
I would say.
They put
The
in,
one side
they were able to do that once they put in the dry
system.
system, and that's been all installed, and then they also had to do some covering of the heads and gas lines and that stuff.
And that's all done now on the one side, and the other, the smaller side, the left field side, we put up the net last Tuesday night, and we'll be covering the gas lines either the end of this week or the beginning of next week too, so that can start to be used also. So, that'll be nice, because then we can have softball on one side, baseball on the other, and they don't have to move the machines all the time. So that will be a very beneficial, plus we did some other stuff, so you can pitch on both sides, and, it's worked out pretty good from what I can tell. Seems like the kids are enjoying it. So far,
I
so
have
good.
not gotten one complaint since
Yeah.
we've kind of switched over.
Thanks.
So the lease really does, the new amendment just kind of mainly addresses that piece of allowing them to be in control of it during the winter time when the cages are being used underneath.
Hate to bring it up, but I'll bring it up anyhow. Parking. Is there any chance that we could have, like, the baseball players and stuff park in the parking lot? I went through there the other day and there was cars parked on both sides, and is that, I know it's closer.
Well, it's because of the plowing of the snow.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the problem. If we were to do that, we would have to plow all the way from the driveway to that door.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
I
lot,
would
plus it's on
prefer
cement.
not to do that.
It's on cement and for ice purposes. At
Right,
least when you're walking on grass, it's not as icy.
right. But I'm just thinking, because that was pretty narrow over there, because like you said, they don't blow all the way to the end, both sides. So when you park there on both sides, you're gonna have narrowing of that. I
I would probably say that unless we get a bunch of complaints, I would say not this time, because it's only gonna be on Saturday mornings, probably you're never gonna see that issue.
Okay.
What has been happening recently is Regal, Lake Henry, and Paynesville have all been hitting on Saturday mornings, or amateur teams.
Yep.
I know that, I would assume Rossville will probably start to,
Yep.
and we were gonna offer it to St. Martin. We have let those, just as, I guess for FYI, that those teams have all been offered it to hit for free. We're not charging them anything, because for those 2 years when we were building this thing, they let us use their fields for high school games, I think, for free, and got them ready for us and did everything, so we're basically saying, just, the Scoogs has been handling all of it, taking care of the timing and everything, but we're not charging them anything.
Chris, maybe if you could just recommend to them that they do as much carpooling as possible.
And
That would
the other thing we'll recommend is park on one side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe that'll.
that would help tremendously.
Yes,
Oh, we'll let them know that, just try to
Yeah.
park on one side, so.
yeah. Like I said, it was kind of narrow when we
And
went by there.
when it starts blowing,
Yes,
it does make the street a lot better.
yes. So, just.
Yep, we'll do that.
We know that's an issue once in a while, so.
Yes, it is.
We might as well curb it as much as we can, so. Any other questions for Chris?
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment.
So I got a motion by Bruce and a second by Lou. Any other discussions? Any comments from the audience? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Thanks, Chris, for everything. Okay, number 3, review and consider designating a law firm to represent and provide legal counsel to District 741. And you have that.
We're just recommending the same law firm that we've had in place with us last year.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
So a motion from Bruce. Second from Heidi. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And carried. Number 4, review and consider approval of appointing Heidi Riley and Max Maher as our voting representative for the Minnesota State High School League.
Really what has happened here is that in order to change the Minnesota High School League Constitution, all schools have to vote for it. And I'm not sure if it's 50% or higher, but what's coming up is that the superintendents have petitioned the Minnesota High School League to put a superintendent on their board. Okay, in order to do that, you have to change their constitution. That's why all of this is coming up at this time, is because we think it's important that when they're making a lot of decisions that do have impact on schools, that we have a superintendent representing us, all the schools at that time. So that's really what this is about. In order to do it, we need to go through this process and get it approved by the board so that we can send our information into Minnesota State High School League.
So when they vote, do they get a vote per each individual?
Every-
Do larger schools bring 15 people in? So they get
No, I don't think so. I think each school gets 2 votes.
So it's fair.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's my understanding, is that each school gets 2 votes on it. So I just need approval.
Make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Okay, so I got a motion by Lou and a second by Cheryl. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. All right, number 5, review District 741 strategic plan. Again, we need a packet. We'll be considering this as a first reading, so we won't need any action, board action tonight, and
Just want to give a little background to the community. We work with the Minnesota School Board Association to develop our strategic plan. We gathered information from the community, students, staff, and administration. We did this by surveys and by meetings. As far as the meetings, on September 23rd, we met with them, MSBA. They came in, they interviewed our students, they interviewed our staff, and they interviewed our administration. So they gathered information from that. And also on the 23rd, about 38 community members, many of the board members also there in administration, met in a community meeting. In which case, again, they looked for what the district is doing well and what the district needs to improve upon. So they collected information from the community for that also. They also talked about what people thought that the school should look like, kind of their vision of what the school would be like in the future. We also asked for input by surveys. We did 3 surveys, 2 community surveys. One was what we were doing well and what we needed to improve on. That went out to the community, and then also a survey on facilities. We asked them a number of questions about that. And then also we had a staff survey that we sent out. MSBA took all that information, compiled it, and then delivered that to our committee during one of our meetings for the steering committee for the strategic plan. So we did all that. 2 community surveys, the one that's doing well in the facilities, and the staff survey. MSBA tabulated it. I also took all the information from the community meetings. About 20, let's see, there was about 38, and I think at that time MSBA told us that we had as many community members show up for that as they had in any of their other workings with other districts. So I think that was great. Still would have loved to see more, but 38 was a good amount for us to have at the community meeting. So they took all the meetings with the staff, the students, and the community, took that information and the survey information, put it all together, and all the board members did attend all of the strategic or planning meetings with the committee. So you saw all the information. So we put a committee together. There were about 27 people on that committee, consisted of school board members, administrative team, community members, and students. We met on October 12th, and we started to talk about our district vision, mission, and our belief statements. So we spent the day on that. Then we also met on October 28th. I did a state of the district to that committee, just talked about where our district's at, where it's been, and where it's going. And we kind of finalized our vision, mission, and belief statements at that time. Then we also met on November 18th, and we started working on developing our goals and objectives. We put all those together on that meeting, and then the administrative team did one final Skype meeting just to kind of finish off the pieces that we'd already agreed upon. There was a couple little word smithing that we did at that particular time. Then we put the document that I'll kind of go over here at that particular time. So this really was put together with a lot of input from community members, staff members, our administrative team, our board members, and our students. That's all we came up with this. So unless there's any other questions on that, I'll just kind of go through this for the community.
I have a question.
Yep.
So we have this now, and this is what we would consider as we internally put together a possible final draft. But I thought we were supposed to get back to the public for opinion on the final draft.
We can certainly get that out there within the next couple of weeks. This is the first reading for the board. If the board so chooses, I can certainly put an article together with that. I'm assuming that we can get that in the paper and get any kind of public or comment from the community.
Well, I just thought that was part of it. Part of it, we had the public, we put it together, we got it all set up. Now we need to go back to the public because it's really the public's strategic
Yeah,
plan.
This is your predicament by doing that. Now, and I agree that we needed to get information from the public. If we do what you're recommending, Bruce, this will go back and we could get 1,000 different versions of wordsmithing for this. And at that particular time, how are we going to make decisions based on that? That was the purpose of the committee, is to take all of the information that we collected, to take a look at all that information, and it was the committee's piece to put this plan together based on that information. It was never planned to go back to the public and say, okay, here it is, now tear it apart. At that point, you might as well start doing this all over again.
Nah, I thought it was. And I thought the idea was the incorporation and the community working together.
But this
And
had,
I'll review my notes. When it first started with the School Board Association, there was supposed to be a time for the public to see our final draft before we just adopt it and slam it down their throat.
well, we can certainly get it out to the public. I'm not in favor of that. I'm fine with that.
And this-
I'm just saying that if you go back to the public and you say, okay, now take a look at it, and we're gonna take all of the public comments, because if you do that, the one thing I guarantee is that they'll expect there to be changes in this particular thing. And then you're going to be making all kinds of changes and tweaks to a piece that the community has had input in. We had a committee put together of all, with community members, board, and everybody else, to put this together, based on what the community has given us from the surveys and from our meetings. But certainly, if the board wants that, I don't have an issue with it.
Well, this is actually gonna go back to all the committee members, not just us, you know? And I think this has been mailed out to, if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna mail
It's
this
been out to them once, and we made a couple tweaks on this. They wanted to have the board take a look at it and go over it, and then it'll go back out tomorrow morning.
So it's gonna go back to the entire,
And I'm fine if it gets the committee, because we all kind of put it together. But the public has to buy into your strategic plan. You're making a strategic plan for the public. They have not seen a final draft of what we're doing. Doesn't mean they don't come back to us. But I know for myself, I am not the smartest guy in the world. Just because I think this is how it should be. Somebody out there that can't get around but's had many years of experience may have a really good idea of something we have to look at. But I actually thought that was part of the deal. I thought that that was supposed to be incorporated before we actually adopted this. And the other part of it is that we want this to be the public's strategic plan along with ours.
But it is,
But if we get to the point,
it is the public strategic plan, because the public put information into this that the committee took.
there's
And put together.
information here and stuff that I saw on the boards that's not here.
Okay, so what you want to do then is expand this out to be about
I
30
want the
pages
public
long.
I want the public to see what we are doing and to have some input for them before we adopt it. I just don't think we should just adopt the thing and jam it right down their throat.
Isn't that where we come in and where the community members come in, talking to the community? That's what our purpose was, is to hear if there were things that we should bring it to the meeting.
If we didn't collect information from the community and from everybody else, they had their opportunity to give us information if they so chose to give us information. Some did, some didn't. Okay, so if we had not asked for any of that,
Yep, and some of that information we took, and some of that information we did not. And then we sat there and we decided that we put all this stuff on all these boards all over the place. But the public has to buy into this. We go to the public and ask them for money for referendums. We go to the public and ask them for all the other things. A strategic plan needs to be something they're looking at, something not necessarily that we put
Well,
together and jammed it down their throat.
Well, I don't, well, first, Bruce, I guess I would not use that we're gonna jam anything down anybody's throat, because I don't think that's our intent. Or I think our
Then why not
intent.
open it up to the public, have a
Well,
look at it? I think,
And
I don't
I
think it's a
think,
big
we
deal.
and I think we could easily run this here in the paper and say, this is our final draft, and if you have any comments or concerns about it, get a hold of the administrator, and then he can take and filter some of that out, and then from there, then that would be, would that satisfy your concerns
Well,
of?
yeah, at least the public's got some input
Yep,
into this.
The public had input into this,
Yeah.
Bruce.
and they did, but let's.
So the town is, half of the members of town are over 59 years old. Most of them are not gonna walk 3 blocks to get into a place in the school, and they can't walk in. But because they're 70 years old and 80 years old and they can't get here, doesn't mean they may not have some ideas that could be helpful to them.
Okay, so
So we have not necessarily shown them. I think it's just a matter of showing it to them.
okay, so I'll show it to him and I'll get, let's say I get 100 pieces of comments back. Okay, that's fine, that's what the board wants me to do, I will do that. So I get 100 pieces of comment back, what would you like me to do with those 100 pieces? We want to reconvene the committee then. Because that committee was given
Well, I think
the
that-
piece of putting this together. That was their job. I mean, I don't have an issue showing the committee, I don't have an issue asking for input. But you're gonna have a plan then on what you're going to do with that input.
And I guess what we can do then is filter out what it is, you know? We're just hypothetically thinking that there might be, but I can probably reassure you that there probably isn't gonna be a lot of input from people. They're gonna look at it and say, that looks really good, and then it's gonna be done and over with. But then at least that we probably, like Bruce is saying, we gave the opportunity for the people to look at it. And if they look at it and then and for whatever reason they would make a comment or not, then we could filter that out and figure out if that's something legitimate, or was that on some of the material that we already went through? And if we did, then we can go back to that person and say, yep, we did have that, but as a group, we had to try to figure out and narrow our ways down to where we are today. And at least then we would have another avenue.
If that's what the board wants, I will do it. My comment would be that that's what we've already done.
Yep, no, I
But
agree.
if that's what the board wants, I will put an article together, I will get it in the paper with this information, and I will ask for input.
Well, Lauren, what do you say?
I thought we've already gone through this process once. We already had opinions from the board, from the community. That's why we have a committee. That's why we have a board to make some decisions.
We did have the surveys.
Yeah,
The survey was inviting the public to make
yeah,
comment
they
at
had
that
the
time.
surveys to it.
But I think it's only reasonable to show them a final draft.
Right, I
That's
don't think
all
it
we're
hurt
asking.
to show them a final draft.
Right.
Show
I
them,
don't know that
get
we
the
can-
opinions back, and I don't think there's gonna be a lot of them.
No, I would guess not,
Yeah.
but if I get 2,
Then we'll have to see once what they are, and then we'll look at what, because when we sat through those meetings, there was a lot of information that we had to narrow it down. And maybe that person's comment might be very well fitting in something that we're doing and say, yes, we are addressing it on this. And the person will say, oh, great, I'm glad that somebody is aware of that, but I don't know. It's the entire board that has to decide.
Well, I'm in favor of it getting it to the public so they can see it before we adopt it. Whatever that takes. If we do it in an article, that's fine. But I'd like to know the public's looking at it with us in a final draft form.
Is this kind of the final draft form, Bob?
yes, unless it was going to go back out to the committee for them to
Right.
take a look at it, but yes, this would be the final draft form.
So could we realistically just put this in the paper like this?
I would have to give some explanation to it, you're just not going to throw it in there and say, look at it. I have no issues, I'll write an article, I'll get it, just be aware that it will not come back to the board at the next board meeting then. It'll come back probably in the first meeting in March. Because I'll have to get the article written, It's already Tuesday, I can't get it in this Wednesday's paper, which means that it has to go out in the next Wednesday's paper. And then you have to give them at least a little bit of time to reply.
Are we on any kind of time
Nope,
constraints?
No,
no, we're not.
Okay, then, so then-
No.
we're not. I'll write the article.
Is that the consensus of the board? Now we have one for sure, yes.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Not so much.
We can do what? Roll call or?
Sure.
I think we have a few of them that are questioning it. I think we should just do it and be over with.
I just think we have to have an understanding of if we get these, we're not gonna make everybody happy.
No, never happened.
And so if we have things come in, what are we gonna do with it?
Yep.
You know,
And hopefully it will be something that we already addressed.
and maybe it's just a matter of just getting it out.
You weeded through an awful lot of stuff, you took what was most important.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if you start getting stuff back,
Start over.
Well, we wouldn't have to start over.
No, it doesn't mean you start over.
This is the
I-
first
I-
time we've.
These people are paying the taxes around here, and the school doesn't operate without their input, and this is a strategic plan. The strategic plan is, where do we intend for this school to move forward to? How do we want it to look? I think it's only reasonable that the public gets a shot at it, looking at it. If they want to comment, that's fine, before we actually adopt it.
I think this would be where I'm at. If there's a few board members that feel that way, then I think we should do it. I would recommend that you don't vote, because that then becomes an issue between that. So I would just say that I've already got on my notes that I will get something in the paper for this.
I would then, has the staff all looked at it too?
No, it has not gone out to all the staff.
I would probably send it to them too.
Being this is the first strategic plan, I think it's kind of important that everybody sees it,
So
not
that
so
they're-
much that
so
you're
they're
going to get
aware.
comments
Especially,
on it.
I would be more in favor of the staff getting this here before the
Yes.
public. Because that's more, they're gonna be doing the work. You know what I'm saying? So I would say the staff should really get this and really go through it and,
That had intended to be going out when I send it out.
oh, you were gonna.
And that was-
Okay, it was gonna go out tomorrow
Okay.
when, after the board had their first look at it.
Because this was just the review anyways, we weren't adopting
Mhm.
it tonight.
No.
No, we weren't adopting it.
Okay. So,
Then I'm just gonna go through it.
okay, thanks, Bob.
Okay, we developed belief statements, and it's just what it says, we believe, and it just says all students should be offered an education developed to meet their individual needs. Okay, one of the statement was, in preparing students for life and social, and we believe in preparing students for life and social responsibility. And we believe in each student has the opportunity and responsibility to learn. We believe in preparing all students to be successful in institutions of higher learning or the workforce without a need for mediation. We believe in collaboration among the home, the school, and the community, and the community has the most positive impact on each student and the community as a whole. And that in community involvement in the school and school involvement in the community. And we believe in a continuous improvement process to keep up with our ever-changing world. And that the mission of the Paynesville area schools is to prepare students with the academic, social, and personal skills to be career, college, and community ready. And as far as the vision statement, it was the Paynesville area schools pursuing excellence for tomorrow's challenges. There were six goals, well, in the area, and that's our focus areas. One was on student achievement, was a focus area. Student support, which is also continued on this page, was a focus area. Finance was a focus area. Technology was a focus area. And facilities was a focus area. Those were the main focus areas. Those areas came primarily out of the community and of the meetings with everybody, and also our surveys. So once we developed the focus areas, then we went in and we started to look at the goals. So as far as student achievement, there were two goals. One was to reduce the achievement gap in special education and free and reduced subgroups through increased performance on state assessments throughout the district. And the second was to provide a variety of educational opportunities that allow all students to be career and college ready at graduation. So those are the two main goals that go with student achievement. Once we got the goals, then we needed to set some objectives. Okay? And the objectives for this particular part was to use annual assessment data to adjust the curriculum to meet the needs of the students in the subgroups. Another objective is by 2016-17 school year, consider options for providing extended day services for students who need individual or small group instruction in areas of need. That goes with the first goal out of student achievement. Then 2A and 2B goes with the second goal, which is set annual targets for increasing the number of third grade students reading at grade level with the aim of having all students reading at grade level by 2019-2020 school year. And the second objective would be to annually evaluate and adjust curriculum to ensure the school district is meeting the needs of all students. Any questions on the focus area of student achievement? Okay, other area was student support. This was a focus area. Then we had provide opportunities for entrepreneurial creativity and engagement as students pursue their passions. And the second goal was to initiate and develop systemic curriculum alignment. For the goal number 3, we had 3 pieces to it. The objectives were to annually track, evaluate, and broaden the courses and/or course experience or academic opportunities that focus on creativity and entrepreneurial projects. Initiate, develop, and track partnerships with local businesses and post-secondary institutions each school year. And invite outside speakers to share career experiences each school year. That goes with this goal number 3. For goal number 4, we had 3 objectives again. One was on an annual basis involve teachers in data analysis and review of curriculum alignment based on the current standards. By August 2016, explore options for providing sufficient resources to support staff training, curriculum development, and implementation. And then objective 4C was by June of 2016, create and implement a plan to ensure standards, instruction, and assessments are aligned within the 6-year curriculum development cycle. So those go with goal number 4 under student support. Questions on the goals for student support or the objectives? Okay, for finance, the goal was to maintain a minimum unassigned general balance of 8% of the annual budget and to establish a strong financial foundation that supports achievement of school district goals. Then we had 2 real main objectives, but broken into 2 parts. 5A was to reach an 8% unassigned fund balance by the end of 2017-18 school year, and also annually develop a 1 to 3 year financial plan that includes projected expenditures and revenues. And we're doing a lot of this stuff for some of these right now. And then 6A was, by September 2016, collaborate with the community to explore ways to increase enrollment in the Paynesville schools, and to annually review and adjust the financial plan to support the goals. So it's really about getting on financial grounds to support our other goals. Any questions for finance? Okay. Then for technology, just one for technology, and that's to integrate technology to improve student achievement. That was the only goal for that, but there were 4 parts to it. One was to hire a full-time technology integration specialist to aid teachers in using effective strategies no later than the start of 2016-17. That was where there was 1 tweak. We have interviewed for that position, but we have some work to do on it now. And we weren't quite sure whether we'd be able to hire by February, which was the original piece that they had talked about. So we did tweak that to give us at least a little wiggle room. We're in the process of hopefully fulfilling that. And then also create a technology survey to assess the needs of students, faculty, and parents by December 1st of 2016. That will really fall upon the technology integrationist. Then 7C is on a continuous basis, provide sufficient hardware and software to meet the programmatic and instructional technology needs of the district. And then also to address Wi-Fi adequacy and reliability in both the elementary and secondary buildings. And we're working on that. That's what our E-rate is primarily helping us with right now to get set up for that. Questions on technology? Okay, then facilities. Have a safe facilities that are well maintained and provide appropriate and adequate space for all school programs. Okay, so that came out in the surveys that we need to look at that. And objectives were to develop and implement a plan to ensure a safe environment with secured access and full camera coverage of the elementary and secondary school buildings by the end of 2020. And again, as in all these, we're doing a lot of that right now. 8B is to develop a 5-year maintenance plan that will address major capital improvement projects as well as ongoing maintenance needs as supported by current and future revenues. And then 8C, by August 1st, 2016, develop a plan to address additional facility needs for all programs. And then 8D is annually assess the level of custodial support needed to meet the maintenance needs of the school district. So we went from the focus areas to the goals, then to the objectives. Once this is approved by the board, then really it'll be up to the administrative team to sit down and do what I'd say where the tire meets the road. And that's to come up with the action steps to meet the objectives. And that'll start to be done right at the beginning, beginning of the summer really. As we're going into next year, we just have a lot on our plate getting ready for the next year as far as budget and a number of other things. So the administrative team will get together and put the action steps together. Once we do that, then we will get the committee together another time just to go through the action steps and review everything that's been put in place. This is the first reading. No action needs to be done. As the board has asked, I will put an article in the paper asking for community input. That's all I have on this one. Questions?
Like no questions are now. I'm just going to go out on a limb a little bit. I think on behalf of the board, I would just like to appreciate or give a thanks to everybody that was involved with this. It was a long venture, but I think we did a very good due diligence on the strategic plan. It would be great when we actually can get this started, and where Bob says the tire meets the road, and I think that's where the real job is going to begin. This was the easy part, I think. The hard part is
There's
yet to come.
a lot of things in this plan that we need to do.
Yep.
But I believe we're doing an awful lot of those right now.
Right.
So we just need to get it down, get our action steps in, and then on an annual basis at least we'll report to the board and the community where this goes once it's adopted. So this will not be a stagnant piece. It will be something that will be brought up every year for the board and the community to take a look at and have a discussion about what we're doing, where we're at with it, what improvements we need to make, or even changes to at least the action steps. I don't see the overall strategic plan changing once it's set, but the action steps I do want very fluid, so that if we find out something isn't working and getting us what we want to get us towards the objective, that we're able to change that easily and then try something differently.
And I think one thing that we can always keep in front of us is that when we have the agenda, and some of the other things that we're doing, we can kind of even relate that to this is part of our focus group of student achievement, for an example, that's related to this. That's what we're going to be talking about, and so we can always keep it at the forefront by some of the things that we do or say or have on our agenda.
Once we set these, we want to get these posters made and get them everywhere.
Yep. But we as a board, I think, can be, when we're making decisions, that we can kind of have that reflected on our...
Everything should go back to your strategic plan. If
So-
it doesn't, then you better rethink what's happening.
Yep, safe. Good job, thank you. Personnel, review and consider approval of the following targeted service assignments for 2015-16 school year. Targeted service February 10th through April 28th. Kim Jones, 44 hours, and Jennifer Wurz, 44 hours. They're both 44-hour jobs. So what is
This
that?
this is cost neutral to the district. We collect funds for this from the
Okay.
state, so I would certainly recommend approval. This is an annual thing that we do during the year.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion from Lou and a second by Cheryl. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Review and consider approval to hire Nancy Hoysak,
Is that-
duplicator, effective February 10th, 2016.
This is replacing our resignation. Right now, she has been working as a sub. This will put her on the contract.
So moved.
Got a motion from Lou,
Second that.
second from Kala. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. Number 3, under personnel, review and consider approval to hire Amy Brown, food service worker, for 3.5 hours per day, effective February 12th, 2016.
This is again is to replace a resignation, so this is already in our budget.
Okay, I got a motion from Bruce,
Second.
second from Kella. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried. All right, on to informational reports. We will have Community Ed by Matt Dickhausen.
I'm going to pass out my report today. I attended a recent seminar on satisfaction survey that was done, a scientific survey through the state of Minnesota. And so I'll get that. They're not talking survey. And what it does is it puts hard numbers to the idea that, well, first of all, satisfaction with community ed programs statewide, 95%. And then one of our main missions, of course, with community ed is to connect people with the school district. And if you see their connection with the school district, all residents, the breakdown there, very informed somewhat, and compare that to community education program users. So that would be 78% are very informed or somewhat informed. So next page shows the quality of education. All residents rating excellent, good, only fair, poor, unsure, compared to that with those that are community education program users. One I thought you might like, evaluation of school board. All residents, you can see the difference there between community education program users, between excellent and good, and the breakdown there. And this is, of course, this was a entire state survey. Move to the next page, we show property tax increases for public schools. All residents, gives you a breakdown of for some, against all, and look at the swing that community education program users. It's an importance we often talk about. You know, they're paying for the facilities, and to get them involved and get them continuing to feel ownership in it, and just how important that is. One of the next one would be $100 tax increase per year. If you look at the difference there between all residents in general and community education program users. So a huge majority there. We go to the next, they break down, they even get specific in this survey, the demographic group changes. So if you look at seniors, which is the highest percent of voters in districts, the 17% plus there between users and non-users. 13 to that age group, empty nesters of 15, men, and then Republicans. It's interesting. Continued state subsidy of community ed programs, all residents, and then users, of course, we expect probably that. But the positive impact is really shown as over a 17% increase in those that are users. So not only do we want to be good stewards of our facilities and programs, but it also has a payoff in perception of the district, usage, support of the district. So it's something we've been preaching, and I've been preaching for the 17 years I'm here, but it's nice to have an independent survey that shows the importance of the investing, of what we invest in community ed, and we appreciate the support that you've given our program. But that is something interesting to share. So, other items, our spring book, we will be sending to press on Friday, so that'll be mailed out a week from Saturday. So quite a few new activities in there and new programs. And other than that, just busy getting things going. We had a great big concert on Saturday night. We had a Revolution 5, which was a Beatles tribute band. So I think a few people thought it was a little bit loud, but it is a rock band. So,
Right.
but
It's very
the Beatles were a rock band, right?
We're big.
But no, it was a good show. We've had a lot of activities and that going on there, and just look for our book for a lot more activities be coming out. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Meet and confer report. Shella.
I went to my first meet and confer meeting, January 27th. We talked about the 2016-17 calendar, and I have a new appreciation for the work that goes into this calendar. I think one of the items that there was quite a bit of discussion on was this teacher start date, somebody mentioned possibly starting on the 29th rather than the 30th.
They want to start on Monday rather than Tuesday.
Yeah. So that's an item that you're considering. They discussed the teacher-parent conferences quite a bit. And at the time of, was it October, November, this year it was a little closer. It was, the teachers wanted a little more distance between the two conferences. Then you talked about athletics and activities and whether you could do them on evenings that have activities. And there's just so much that goes into the thinking of this calendar. They added a staff development day, beginning of October. That's a new thing. And I think that was a positive reaction to the teachers. And then there was a second calendar should the legislature pass a bill this year starting school before Labor Day. So there's a little discussion there. So that's what I have.
Jeff. Administrative negotiation, Bruce.
Well, we had it today. We met for quite some time, and we saw proposals and had good discussions. And now we have to do an analysis. We hope to be back to everybody within a week or so, and probably go through it again.
And Bruce, if you wouldn't mind, maybe support staff too. We met today and I forgot to put that on the agenda.
Okay. We met with the support staff again, talked about a lot of things, and to a degree, I wonder if they've been kind of left out of this process to a degree, so it was very interesting for all of us who were there, and so we're working on that too. We had, again, some proposals, and now we just have to analyze it, and superintendent's gonna put the pencil to it to see if it's all workable. So, and then again, we hope to get back to these people fairly quickly so that we can resolve this and move forward with all. Then we've done with all the negotiations.
Yes, correct.
So, thank you.
All right, thanks, Bruce. Administrative meeting report by Bob Hewitt.
Okay, just a couple things. The 2016-17 school calendar, I think Kella did a great job on that. Hopefully at the next thing, there's a lot that goes into the calendar. It is problematic to get everything in there that everybody would like. And I understand it's all the reasons on everything, so we're trying to finalize that right now. There's a couple things to check on before we can do that. deals with timing, deals with a lot of different things. So that hopefully will come to the board at the next meeting. Been continuing to meet with our QCOM committee. We're gonna meet again tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, and Friday morning. We're running on a timeline. We need to get it into the state by the 15th. At that point, the state looks at it and, you know, takes a look at it and says, well, you have to change this. I can't believe they'll take our plan and just stamp it. Once it's approved by us, then it would, or by the MDE, then it would come back and we, you know, it's going to be presented to the staff as it's finished. But in the end, once it comes back, we'd still have to make sure that everybody's in agreement that we're going to do it. Then the board would finally have to approve it. But we're a long ways from getting that, but we can turn it down anytime. We don't have to do it at any time, but we've got to get it in by the 15th. It's all about getting in how would I put it? First come, first serve. Because there's only so much money. If we get in right away and it's approved and it works the way we want, we're probably going to get the dollars for it from the state. If we go too far down and all the dollars are gone, then even if we have an approved plan and everybody agrees on it, we won't get any money for it. So we're really trying to work hard and get it in, and we're trying to put a plan together that will work for everybody. That would be all the staff and administration. So we're working hard on that. Hopefully we'll meet our timeline. Just be aware that I'm going to put in for a solar garden. This isn't the type of solar garden that we've already approved. This would be an on-district solar garden, small one. I've been against putting them up on the roofs, just because I don't think it's good to put a solar garden up on your roofs that you're having leaks with. But we started to talk, and we may be able to do something where we incorporate some of the reserve center space, because it's already fenced in. And if you put a solar garden on the ground, it has to be fenced in. Be aware that this would be something that wouldn't cost us anything. There would be the possibility of saving $100,000 over 25 years for us. That's not the primary reason I'm doing this smaller one. It would be, I think, even if it saved us a little bit of money, but I think it'd be a great educational tool to have that type of small array on our own property, which could be used by our staff and even for the community to see that we're trying to do as much green as we can. So I'm going to put that in. Like I said, right now we need to do it, get it done, get it in. Then it's a lottery, because there's no cost to us to do it. It's financed by the state, the Minnesota Made Production Incentive they have, and plus some federal tax credit. So there's no cost to us whatsoever. But again, it's a lottery. Even if we get it in, we may not get picked. If we are picked, that's when everything will come back to the board. Nothing will be approved until you see it all, and then you make the final approval. So just because we're pushing forward, we have deadlines to make for that too. Okay, so just be aware of that. No school Monday, President's Day. Enrollment has stayed pretty level right now, so that's a good thing. We're not dropping. We're kind of going up and down, so it's hard to tell sometimes. Right now it looks like we might be a couple ahead, but that can change pretty quickly. So, but we're staying pretty level. 6th grade winter camp fundraiser. They had chip shop and t-shirt sales, and they made a profit of about $5,351.95, of which the winter camp is, I think, heading out tomorrow for the 6th grade. Wellness committee is also met. We've had some trouble finding dates, and we set a date, and then we had the early release. Then we had to set another date quickly, so not everybody could attend on that. So we're going to try to set another date, because we didn't have the whole committee there when we tried quickly. We discussed a lot of things about what other districts are doing to support staff wellness. That's kind of what it's about. But we also need to look at the wellness policy itself, because there's a lot of updates that we need to do. I think when that thing was put together, it was put together at the first time when the federal government kind of got involved, and the state of Minnesota got involved and said you need to have all the stuff in there. To tell you the truth, I'd really like to streamline that policy. You know, we're mandated by the federal government on a lot of the food for that anyway. So what you may get back is a streamlined version of what there was there. Plus we have to add a couple things to be compliant with the state policy. We want to do things that encourage people to eat healthier, to do more activity type of stuff. We'd like to increase our membership. We're probably going to try to talk to a few staff members to get involved. We don't have a PE representative for instance, that might be there. Need to go over an updated policy, what else? I think that was it. That's what I got.
Number 8, other sharing. I'm just gonna kind of start off. If you all recall, we were at the January 14th, 15th to the Minnesota Minnesota School Board Association conference. This year's, it was the 95th annual, which was, pretty ironic or surreal that, that's been going on for so many years. This year's theme was Unleash the Heroes in Our Midst. So most of the directors and board were wearing capes and different things to show their support of the whole atmosphere of the heroes. And so that was kind of a new twist to things. So, but anyhow, the conference was really well. I went to a couple of them. One was the superintendent evaluation, and then his performance. I'm going to be going through that a little bit more on seeing what we can do to get that a little bit more input on that part of it. The other one I thought was really interesting is it was called, let me see if I can find it, regarding cyber. It's on this here sheet. The intersection of ethics of technology and school law. Very, very interesting topic, and I think we're going to really have to, once the person gets on board with the technology, I think that person, I would think, would be probably part of their job is to really dive into this here. Social media is huge, and it's talking about all the different ramifications that we as the school district are at, in harm's way if we have employees that are using social media and so on and so forth. And just to be aware that even though that there's new social media tools out there or vehicles, we need to know about them. And we're still liable for those things or whatever's going on out there. So that was sure an eye-opener. And I was surprised that even like Snapshot and all these other little programs or whatever, you can go back on all those, everything that was done. So if people think that these are all, it's not. It's there. People can go and get however far back they want to of anything anybody said, did, whatever, and it's scary. Because we're, like I said, as a school district, we are responsible for our staff. So there's policies that we make sure that are in place for that to protect us, and also that it's going to be, a direction for the staff to follow, so that they don't get themselves into a situation where it's just like, well, I didn't know that, but because we all have to be informed on what that all is. So again, that was a very interesting topic, and more to come on that one for sure. They had given us an example of one of the school, their social media policy, so I got it here, so Bob, we can look at that.
I would love to get a copy.
Yep, so that's what I went to, and like I said, it was very, very informative, a lot of great things, so I don't know if anybody else has anything.
Yeah, and we did, last time we went to this, we did have a workshop, kind of specifically on this. More than happy to set that up if that's something the board wants to do.
I think that would be.
Good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
And we would just set it up, and you can bring your stuff in, and we can just have a discussion.
Sure.
Certainly would be open to the public if they want to also sit in on that. So if that's the desire of the board, I will set that up.
I think that's good, so that we can get all that information out to them.
Because there was a lot of things. It is one of my favorite workshops. I think they really do an excellent job for educating our board, and there's always things that when I go there, I learn. So it's a fantastic time, well worth it.
Yes. So, thank you on behalf of the board.
I do have one thing I want to add there. So what does it take to get our jazz band or our band playing? We get there, and all the school boards in the state are sitting there watching these bands coming from here and there, and they play the national anthem and a couple of things, and all I can think of is, we have one of those. It'd be nice to see Paynesville there. You know, it's a little off topic from the educational part, but
I
it's.
think if I were to do anything, I might want to talk to our instructor first.
Well,
I can certainly bring it up to him and
Yeah, ask
get
him what
his
he
thoughts
wants.
and then find out more from there.
But I was impressed with one of their last outings here at one of the basketball events. There were a boatload of kids in the band there that was playing, and I had several people around me comment about, wow, they have not seen that in a long time. So Lauren is doing a wonderful job, so.
Yeah, I do have one more thing if I can just add. The city and I are collaborating to bring in somebody to talk about bully behavior. It's our bully presentation. We're going to do it to probably, there's an age piece that we need to be a little careful on whether we go down to 6th grade or not, but it'll be for the at least the 7th through 12th grade kids, I think, right now. We're just putting that together. They're going to take part of the half the cost, we'll take half the cost. I think it's well worth it. This is the speaker who hasn't been in for a long time, for the love of me, I can't remember his name right now, but I'll bring more information to the board as that shakes out.
And if we, I mean, it would be nice to check into, make sure how low we can go with that, because the more kids that we get involved.
I would agree. He's set up for a little bit of the older kids versus 6th grade, but we'll have an answer to that question. We'll go that low if it's appropriate for them,
Yep, right.
but if it's not appropriate, we will not.
No. Anything else come from the board?
No, I got just some of the workshops I went to. I went to the open meeting law just to refresh my memory of some of it, and I won't go through all of them. But the one I was really interested in, it was a workshop titled "Kids Say the Darndest Things and They Get Expelled for It," and that was a good workshop. And of course, the topic "and then they get expelled for it" had a question mark. And I was fortunate enough, after the workshop, I had an opportunity to talk to the presenter, an attorney. He was very, very good. Had a lot of questions, and sometimes we jump to conclusions of what is bullying and what is, just, well, they shouldn't be doing it, but carrying it too far. And it was very, very good workshop. And if anybody has any questions, I've got a handout here that I got from that, and if somebody wants to look at it. I think it's well worth your time to read it.
Back on the bullying thing, when we started looking at it a couple years ago, I got onto the Stearns County website, it was probably one of the most complete bullying sites that I had been on to read about some definitions of that. Well, the township no longer uses the police, and the township uses the sheriff department. And as a taxpayer in the township, I would love to have the sheriff's department involved in just a little bit, as a little bit of a donation. So if they can be incorporated, or at a future time,
I know
they
that
want to incorporate the sheriff's department, I go for it.
I know our police chief is trying to incorporate a lot of people right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because we were hoping possibly to do a community piece in addition, but that's additional dollars. And so I know that he's still looking, but what we've agreed to is for our students right now.
Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Lou, second by Cheryl. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and carried.